about the LGBTQ and I don't identify because of the agenda. So there's stuff that happens with that entire agenda that I don't agree with, that doesn't resonate with me. So I've always stood on that. Watch previous episodes from the beginning of this show. You will see I've always stood on that.
Go ahead, look.
I was just gonna add to it, just listening to everybody, is that no one kind of identified or said that men, since they were younger, anytime they expressed any type of emotion, they were called, "Don't be a girl, don't be this," certain triggering words to emasculate them to be more quote unquote masculine, so they're not able to be comfortable expressing themselves. So I was just asking her, did she ever consider to say that the backlash may not be because they're gay, it's just insensitive to their experience as men in society when it comes to women, telling them they're feminine if they just express what humans experience, you know what I'm saying? And then for you to not identify what the group looks like, but you're telling them based on what they're displaying, you can identify and tell them something. It just seems contradicting. I just wanted to know, if this is how you feel about men, what is your goal in a man's space as a woman who doesn't identify as the group that you associate with, but you're not here to talk to women, because women who support channels usually, you know what I'm saying, they agree with men or some sort of conversation. So just kind of like, what is your goal? Because I never met you. Just
Mm-hmm.
respectful. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, so the goal is to get people to live and walk in their truth. So if you are a certain way, introduce yourself. Come into the room. Let us know who you are. And I think that that's a difficult thing for people to do. So if I ruffle feathers because I say I think that 50% of men are whatever, um, and there's other things that I've said. That's just, I think that's the one that stands out the most. But there's other things that I've said that they are not comfortable with, and it's okay. I'll keep saying it. I'll keep having my opinions, and hopefully we can get to the point where we can really have that conversation, and people can be who they are. People can get to a point of understanding more about themselves and having better relationships. Because I do hear a lot of contradictions with the men in these spaces. I do hear a lot of men in these spaces talk from a space of not really knowing what they want, but they're going to say the women don't know what they want. So it's like just listening to people speak from a place that's not true and accepting that. Like, I'm just not with that shit.
So are you basing it off the conversations and the interactions you're having with the men in this space or the men in your real world? Because when you say 50%, you're talking about 9 million black men. I
Right.
just
But
I just
but
don't
here's the thing.
believe you know 9 million black men to confirm that 9 million of them are gay. Because that's 50% of black men in this country. That's 9 million people.
Hmm. Again,
You know 9 million black men?
I'm not gonna move from my position on that. However, that's not the only thing
Last
that
point.
I've said that has gotten under people's skin, and I don't want to be stuck on that whole thing because I'm gay and everything has to be gay associated with my conversation.
So do you ever like, this is the last thing I'm gonna say with this whole thing.
Hmm.
Do you ever consider, like, so we got three people, Sherelle, Lucky, and me. And I think
Hmm.
Robbie was trying to chime in on it. Would you ever consider analyzing and researching what we're saying and then come back one day? I ain't saying today overnight, but one day and like think about what we just told you. Because I feel like a lot of people say a lot of stuff, and then when somebody gives you, hey, another idea, they don't even consider it, and then they're gonna keep the same thought for years, and there's never gonna be a change, never gonna be a solution. So, are
Yeah,
you
so
gonna
I try
consider
to stay.
what we are saying?
I try to stay away from statistics because I don't think that they're accurate, and I walk through the world with open eyes. So again, you
No,
will hear me strongly say, based on my observations.
I didn't say
That's
no
what I.
statistic. This whole time we didn't talk about statistics. She just brought up just about how many men, but we weren't talking about statistics. So I'm
Okay,
just
so
talking about in
what
general.
were you referring to when you said research?
Like we already said, like a lot of men who hear that term being thrown at them, this is how they respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
So researching would mean in your space, I don't know how many men you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to men and see how men are thinking and feeling. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of like a research. You're like, you know, analytically, critically looking at the situation instead of just like this is what I think, but based
Yeah.
off of like,
So here we are. So here we are. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
okay.
So
So Yeah, we're gonna move off it. I just think that this is why I chose this question next. You know, because if people are unable to hear some shit and reconsider their point or concede it, what's the point? You know what I mean? And if people think that they can simply say things that hyper in that much hyperbole, what's the point? You know, so it makes it tough overall for people who want to have it what I would deem a slightly more genuine conversation. Um, so this question, this is the one I wanted to go with next is women cause issue in a space or bring a necessary perspective. Now, let me be clear. Women definitely add something, in my estimation, to the space, right? But we're going minority or majority here with this question. Is it more issue or is it a needed perspective?
What channels are you deeming the space? Because you have some men who
In
think
your
they're
mind, look, because it's gonna be hard for me to be like this one, this one, this one. You feel me?
yeah. I
So
got
just
you.
whatever you
Okay.
got in your head, that'll be easier. And for everybody, feel me?
I
Go ahead,
think
look.
some women. I think some women bring needed perspective. I think, but just for the most part, I think the women.
Some
I, yeah, I mean, the ones that I
Mi-
pay attention to ain't too many.
minority, majority. What you think
Minority.
of women bringing
There's a
needed
small,
perspective?
yeah, I think
Okay.
there's a small percentage, and I think the other percentage are just there because men need somebody to disagree with. Because if it's just a sausage party, we see how dry that get.
Wow, 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 wow.
Damn, I can't even rebuttal because you said sausage and party at the same time. I gotta stay away from that. Damn, Precious, what you think?
Um, I believe that. Ooh. And when we say this space, are we just talking about YouTube or just uh, social media altogether?
I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we include
This
Instagram and all
space
that?
is usually considered to YouTube.
Okay, YouTube.
And women who have their own channels or women who just come on here?
Yes,
I'm sorry, I'm like breaking it down.
yes, all of it.
All of it. For the most part of what I see,
Chat too.
for the most part, I think women cause issues, honestly.
Damn.
I don't think women bring um I don't think most women bring needed perspective. I'm not saying that women don't. I'm just saying that most women come in to start issues or vent in a way that's not is just not productive. It's not productive. Either they don't have communication skills, they don't know how to talk to men, they don't know how to be respectful to men. So that's what I see. Being on the panels, running my own channel, and seeing the women in this space. Most of them do not come solution oriented. It's just to bash, be negative, and be
Who you
loud.
talking about? Who you talking about?
No, no, no. Unless
Men.
they up here, you can't say no names.
Well, I mean, I don't know their names specifically,
Okay.
honestly. But what I see and the interactions that I see, I don't see women being productive.
Let's just think of all the places Precious go, and then we just gonna dwindle it down.
You can deduct the
Yeah, I don't
reason.
know where I'll be. I'm not just saying the spaces that I am in. I'm just saying on this
I
in
know
this
I'm
space
messing with you.
period. Yeah.
Okay. Hmm. What you think? What you guys think? Any opposing opinion? So Luck and Precious seem to be
I,
on the. Go
I
ahead.
think the men, majority of the men now, don't add anything productive. They just wanna fight each other.
All right. Well, we'll talk about the men in just a second.
I think I agree with them. I think the women, majority of the women, just come to bring
Sherelle, you got a
discussion
little bit of feedback. Like it sound like you're underwater.
She's on her
in the world.
phone.
You got headphones in? You got the Marshall boys in, huh? They got you going through that aisle, didn't they? Oh, okay. The packaging be nice at Marshall, but do not buy them headphones. Them shits do not work. Try it again, Sherelle. Unmute real quick.
What about now?
It's kind of like underwater sounding a little bit.
I
Just
might need to refresh. I'm gonna refresh.
refresh real quick. Refresh real quick. Go ahead, Raw. What you think?
I have to agree.
Mm.
The majority of women don't bring a additive value, and instead they feed the narratives that are being pushed and they claim to want to fight against.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yeah. There's not like a feedback. Yep. Go ahead, Raw.
Okay,
Finish.
so yeah,
Hold on.
okay.
Sherelle. Go ahead, Raw. Finish. Send it real quick.
So yeah, like I mean, you could win more flies with honey than vinegar, and a lot of women in these spaces don't even try with the honey. They just go straight for the apple cider vinegar and put the salt in the wound. That's it. So it's problematic because then men get the opportunity, and none. I find very few women are exempt, excluding nobody. But then men take and they use, interactions. They clip it up however they want to, and then it furthers the agenda. So even in the chat, even comments in the chat, everything else. So I don't know. I think I'll keep my thought on that to myself, but majority is problematic.
Go ahead, Sherelle.
Okay, yeah. So I would say that most of them, they don't add no value to the space. It's the reason why there's the same 4 or 5 women that you'll see all the time, and it's the reason why like people are like so enamored with those women because you don't see it. Most women they just come here to combat whatever the man is saying, no matter how illogical it can get. And then it's like majority of the female spaces, the content creators, the ones that are bigger, and they all hate men.
Mm.
The biggest ones, they hate men, like literally like on some let's just destroy y'all, let's eliminate y'all type messages. So
Damn. Man, what you think, Di?
I think it's both. So even the negative people that
Put him in the
we're
fucking
talking
bedroom. Get him out of here. Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him out of here. Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him out of here. Come on.
So the
so
minority, which side, even if it's 60-40, bring value perspective 60, and what's the 40? Can't be 50%.
I'm saying, so what I'm saying is it's both, because even though they're saying negative stuff, they are just like, it's a perspective that's needed so people can know. Before the internet, sometimes you would not be able to know these things about what people are actually thinking. So I'm saying
What
needed,
about her though?
not enough.
So you're
I'm saying,
saying the issues are the issues. However, you still need the perspective. So at the end of the day, there's a benefit. Okay.
right. So like I learned from people that say crazy stuff and good stuff, because that's how you learn. You learn from both. So you look at the person saying something crazy and you be like, nah, I'm not dealing with that. But if you didn't see it, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna get a little caught up out here.
Okay. I see.
So that's how I'm looking at it.
That's why the perspective is necessary, so you know what not to look for, type shit, kind of, for all intents and purposes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how I
Listen.
learned my whole life. Yep.
Okay. Okay. I can understand that. I can understand that. Q, what you think?
Yeah, I have to agree. But I don't think it's intentional.
Okay. It's not intentional.
No, I don't think it's intentional.
Mm.
I don't think that it's intentional that the women do cause issues in this space. I think the conversations are hard to be had because women speak differently than men speak and interpret differently than men interpret. Men want the women to come into these spaces talking and understanding the way that men do.
What would you say about the cliche when in Rome?
That's a cliche for Rome when it comes to just actions, but I don't think that that's ideal. If you're having a real conversation with somebody, but you're just gonna be in there like, well, let me just act like them for this comfort that will be created here. I don't think men are gonna do that. I don't think men are gonna have a conversation with women and be at the nail shop getting their nails painted just to have the conversation. They're gonna be in there as men.
Well, consider this: when you go into somebody's house and they have, I don't want to use the word ritual, but like you got to take their shoes off. Do you take your shoes off even if you don't in your house?
Yeah, you would.
But that's what I'm saying. Wouldn't your conduct change based on who house you in to an extent, right?
Right, but conduct and the conversation is two different things too.
Huh?
Conduct and the conversation are two different things.
Why?
If you the minute that women start sounding like women, that is very triggering for these guys. And it doesn't have to always be like this attitude and neck popping and all this stuff. It's just the different perspective or speaking it the way that a woman would talk, or if you're not understand, they want to be understood. There's not a space to agree to disagree often. At least I don't see that.
Yeah, I think that is true. Agree to disagree is one thing. However, what about leaning into ad hominem shaming and things of that nature? Do you
Hmm.
think that that's the reason? So if women are communicating in those stereotypical ways, what should happen? Shouldn't men take exception?
To those women, I think that they should be able to just let her go off however she want to go off. Like, again, I don't think there should be that like that equality thing. Like, well,
But you,
she acting like that, so
yeah, she's acting like that, right? Which is unwelcomed here. So
mhm.
you're saying she should just be able to do it though?
If she's out of line, that would be up to the moderator at that point. I would think like you got somebody just really being out of character, like completely out of character, and not adding any value to your channel. Why are they allowed to continue to be invited? Like that's crazy.
So out of line, you agree. So when men are saying 50% of us would be out of line, you don't but you don't accept that what happens then. You see what I'm saying? Like people think you could just come in and say what you want, and then
Hmm.
men are not supposed to take exception. You saying that should be okay. I feel like that could be problematic.
No, if it depends on how they're reacting. Like again, if a woman's being a woman, like you don't know if she's on her cycle or whatever, that's gonna make sense for her, right? However she's acting, that's gonna make sense for her. But
That's
then if
not an
you're
excuse, though.
responding in the same way as a man, that's saying a lot about you too.
Go ahead, Precious.
Oh, I was just gonna say that cycle thing is not an excuse. You don't get to act a certain way because you bleeding. You don't get to
Yeah, I'm
act a
not saying.
certain way because it's that time of the month. As a woman, and you were saying, when women come into spaces and speak like women, you should be respectful. You should have
Yeah.
some tact to you. You should be able to conduct yourself in, a semi-professional way. You know what I mean? That's not what's in these spaces. You have women coming in these spaces, and shout out to Mr. Like, acting like children. You have women coming in these spaces acting like children, and I can't say I'm acting like a child because I'm on my monthly, which comes every month, and I know it
Mhm.
comes, and I know what I act like, and I know what how my aura is around that month. I can't say that I'm going to disrespect a man because of that. I can't say that I'm going to be out of. I'm not going to be civil because of that. So I
Mhm.
just wanted to say that because I think women make up a lot of excuses of why their behavior is piss poor. And it's piss poor because you didn't have nobody to teach you. And if you did, you didn't want to adhere to instructions or guidance or leadership. And so I think that's what truly comes out on these panels and in this space. You just see a lot of people that haven't been parented correctly,
Mhm.
and you just see it run rampant in this space.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying that's an excuse. It's still wrong, right? Like disrespect is wrong. Disrespect warrants apologies, or apologies should follow disrespect, right? At some point. I'm just saying it will make sense, and I'm just saying you shouldn't also want to do what you see somebody else doing that is wrong. and then say, well, because they did it, that's why I acted like this. Because these women coming on here disrespectful, that's why we're calling them all type of names and this, that, and the third. It's like, so did it almost is like, well, in a way, you kind of wanted to do that to somebody. You was just waiting for a woman to act how women act.
Yeah, I so like when I went on Lucky, oh, I got you, Raw. I'll be quick. Um, like when I went on Lucky's panel, 99% of the time, look, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I generally wait for you to call on me. I might make a face in the corner, like, all right, they wilding, but there's certain conduct and decorum you should have. There's no way you go into somebody's house and be acting how you want to act. Like, I just don't understand that I don't understand that ideology.
So where are y'all seeing this? Because I don't feel like I'm seeing that.
But
So it's just like, so let me be clear. So men are having this conversation, right? And then women just come on, they take a link into that man's space and they're just like yelling at him and acting all kind of crazy. Just in their first, like, it's not building up to that or nothing's happening in between.
Never mind. I'm not gonna do you like that.
Go ahead.
This is the thing.
I'm for him now.
So some people are just absolute savages. It is what it is. It's a bull in a china shop a lot of times. And again, if that's the type of time you want, just own it. If you're gonna be the villain and you're gonna be the bad guy, be the villain and the bad guy, but don't also be the victim. That's point one. Point two is it goes back to my earlier point. How was you raised? Because a lady always knows when to leave. But it has definitely been a pleasure. Ham, thank you for inviting me. Ladies, y'all are amazing. Chat, it's been fun. Good night, everyone.
Easy, Raw. Appreciate you, old ass. If you take your medicine.
So my follow-up question was going to be, do y'all see that as the majority of women coming into men's spaces?
That's what they said, Q.
So then boycott that shit. That's ridiculous. I don't see it, but if y'all saying y'all see that, that's crazy.
They did that already. They boycotted the whole stream.
Yeah, but Q, see, here's the thing. Would you consider yourself one of the ladies?
No.
And you see how that's why it's a broken mechanic at that point, because you don't see it, but you could fit in that category.
So where I don't see myself as that is because I'm on This Might Be Risky, and people come in here and they take the link and then they talk a certain type of way, and I respond to it.
100%. But wait, I'm just talking about the conduct, because you'll ad hominem a nigga to death. You'll tell a nigga it's giving, how y'all say it? It's giving gay or like giving soft or some shit. And then you told me niggas can't have emotions because they not feminine enough. Like, you know what I'm saying? That could be those problem things.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing to him. And so I'm growing from arguing with guys, right? I'm allowing these guys to act how they want to act. I'm learning. I'm gonna let you act how you want to act. But yeah, previously, if a guy is being disrespectful in the chat, then he comes on, he takes the link, and in the minute he comes on, he's got a high pitch. He's coming at me with these words. Q, you this and you that and you that. Hold on. Hello, how are you?
Yeah.
Good evening. You see what I'm saying? So now I'm triggered previously in those spaces, and I'm responding to that. I'm not Precious. I'm not saying that was okay, right? Here's what I'm saying though. Can I really be seen as the person who's out of character when we really have to address who was out of character first? And that's what I did. So now I'm standing on that. I'm like, hey, but I'm responding to you though. You're coming into this space and you're acting like this. And so now that narrative becomes the all-inclusive to all of YouTube, which is, the women are just so disrespectful. And us men, the things we have to put up with, it's like, stop. No.
It's like they're antagonizing you. Oh.
No, because what I can say to Q is one thing you will learn about the men in this space is their game is composure. They know how to say things to trigger women, and they know how to be composed. If they can get you to be uncomposed, you just lost the game. because they're playing the game of composure. Because if they can get a woman to be irate or act a fool,
If it's the narrative.
that brings them money, that brings them views, that brings them an audience because that was their entire goal. And I had to learn that the hard way being here because a lot of times it's like coming from where I come from, we meet disrespect with disrespect. And a lot of times you just got to avoid them
Yeah.
Right. So
or
that's
ignore them. And I will look at it like he ain't even talking. Like,
Yeah. But Q does beat them at that game. I'll say that. Go ahead, Luck.
yeah. Well, that's probably why they hate her.
No, I was saying like yeah, sometimes, and I would say if she's on this channel, then this is kind of like them coming into her house feeling like they can disrespect her.
Yeah, that's a
And
good
then
point.
it would kind of like Love say it would be up to the host to kind of set the rules, just like if they come to your house feeling like all I gotta do is just respect you because you a man, I don't have to respect nobody else here. That's a woman. Then it kind of also goes into why women feel like why should we even listen to these men if they don't even care to listen to us? And to a solution is they tell women, oh, well, if you want to don't you care about men, shouldn't you listen to men to get solutions? So it's like the same thing vice versa. If you have these problematic areas with women and these women that you're talking to may fit the description, may not, wouldn't it behoove you to listen to what women are saying and shoot at me, spit out the bones, like not just assume because she's a black woman and she reminds me of insert black traumatic issue here that you represent everything, especially if you're just dumping all your shit on somebody who really don't know you. And it's kind of like, hold on, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think that comes into play too, where it's just a lot of dumping.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's actually a better point. You know, I think I did a poor job of pointing out the subtle, like, I guess I would say, disrespect that often happens, and men get characterized so quickly. Like if you're too demonstrative, you get called like, different things, feminine and things of that nature. And I don't know if people really understand what stoicism actually means, Any other, I got one more question. Anything else on this one? Y'all good? Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Shit been crazy, you feel me? So I love y'all. Be safe. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and we out.